Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, thank you for joining us today at Afghanistan's National Armed Forces Day. Please remain seated for the Afghan and the British national anthems. Now, I would like to invite His Excellency Ambassador Zalmay Rasul to give his remarks.
Rahim. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, thank you for joining us to celebrate Afghanistan's Armed Forces Day. I would like to specially recognize the presence of Right Honorable James Heappey, Minister of State for Armed Forces. I am very grateful to the presence of every one of you here. Ladies and gentlemen, today we honor all those who have served and are serving our country in uniform. I am here to first and foremost pay tribute to the thousands of brave Afghan men and women currently fighting for a safer Afghanistan. I am also here to convey the message of gratitude of the Afghan people and pay tribute for the service, support, and sacrifices of British, NATO, and partner countries' military personnel and their families. Since 2001, 10,000 of NATO and partner country soldiers, among them 150,000 British Army personnel, have served in Afghanistan. In these 2 decades, over 40,000 Afghan security personnel and 3,502 soldiers of the coalition forces have fallen, in addition of 1,000 who have been wounded. We are deeply indebted and sincerely grateful to every one of them The courage and devotion of these brave heroes have saved and improved the life of millions of Afghans and has contributed to stability and peace around the world. Their commitment and sacrifice have empowered us to work towards rebuilding Afghanistan. Today, Afghanistan is a democratic country, building its infrastructure, improving its governance, and is able to provide healthcare and education to millions of Afghans, particularly Afghan women and children, 9 million boys and girls. I am very proud also today, ladies and gentlemen, to have contributed to the formation of the Afghan National Army and Police as the first national security advisor of Afghanistan from 2002 to 2010. I was and remain deeply impressed by the bravery and patriotism of the men and women in uniform who are willing to risk their life to protect and help Afghanistan. I'm also immensely thankful to our key strategic partner, the United Kingdom, and our friends and allies in NATO and around the world for the continued steady and strong support of our military. As part of the Resolute Support Mission, there are currently 10,000 personnel from more than 35 NATO member states working closely with the Afghan Army, Police, and Air Force. This includes 650 British troops that remain in Afghanistan advising and providing training to our security forces. The British government and military personnel have helped train a new cadre of Afghan military leaders in their defense institutions, as well as Officer Academy in Kabul, which was model of the Royal Military Academy Centers. Since the Academy's establishment in 2013, it has provided training and support to over 35,000 of our soldiers who hold key security posts within the Afghan armed forces. Currently, there are 350,000 strong Afghan National Army and police personnel who have assumed the fighting bravely and effectively. I can proudly say that 90% of the operations are conducted by the Afghan force today. Our soldiers are now carrying and leading this fight with the help and support of our allies. As a result, you, our partner, have played a key role in giving Afghanistan the best chance for stability and helping us in our endeavor for a strong, free, and peaceful Afghanistan. I remain committed to maintaining and strengthening this vital military and security alliance between our countries. I am certain that a joint fight against extremism and international terrorism will help Afghanistan reach a just and sustainable peace and further contribute to regional stability and world security. Our long-standing security partnership with the United Kingdom and NATO is all the stronger because of our shared democratic ideals, where basic human rights are protected and upheld, and where people determine their type of government and their destiny. So today, I ask you to join me in honoring all our Afghan and allied servicemen and women. We applaud their bravery and thank them for their sacrifice. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Ambassador. Please allow me to welcome Minister of the Armed Forces, the Right Honorable James Heappey, MP.
Ambassador, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for inviting me to join you to represent the UK's Ministry of Defence in this celebration of your National Soldiers' Day. Can I also say how fantastic it was to hear all three verses of our national anthem? We very rarely play all three, and so thank you very much indeed for doing that. I am genuinely honoured to represent the government today in this commemoration of your National Soldiers' Day, not only because I am here to underline the commitment of Her Majesty's government to Afghanistan and to the Afghan National Army, but also because I myself am a veteran of the UK's military operations in Afghanistan. I served in Kabul in the winter of 2005-2006, and I served in Sangin in the summer of 2009. And I vividly recall three traits of the Afghan soldiers that I met serving in the Kandaks with whom we were operating alongside during those two tours. Firstly, and most obviously, their courage. We were facing an enemy that was ruthless and cunning and evil, and the tactics that they would use against us were horrendous. They would target our stretcher parties. They would seek to make sure that nowhere was safe, and their tactics were ones of fear, the unseen threat of improvised explosive devices. And I will forever remember the steadfastness and the courage of the Afghan soldiers with whom I served as we together faced that threat and marched back the evil influence of the Taliban so that the people of Kabul and the Upper Helmand Valley could be free of their influence and brand of government. Second, I remember the immense resilience of the Afghan National Army. Few Afghans have got through the past decades without experiencing some loss. And I know that many of the warriors that I was serving with in the Kandaks that were based in Helmand were serving far away from home whilst their families faced real danger elsewhere in the country. And yet the resolve of those soldiers to keep fighting despite the danger that their families faced elsewhere, and in the face of the danger that they faced right there, as I've just mentioned, was extraordinary to see. At times of increasing dangers, such resilience is a lesson to us all, and I know that so many of the soldiers with whom I served were struck at the difference between those of us who had flown from the UK to serve in Afghanistan but knew that our families were safe back home in the UK, compared to those who had travelled away from their home community in Afghanistan to fight elsewhere in the country without any such reassurance. And I remain hugely admiring of what I saw during those tours. Thirdly, I also remember Afghanistan's famous hospitality, particularly from the members of the armed forces. We in Sangin would live on a rather austere diet of dried goods, pasta, noodles, rice, tinned meat, and it was altogether a pretty sort of austere and grim affair. But our friends in the Afghan National Army were able to save us with an almost endless supply of your fantastic bread, your amazing watermelons, and also the odd case of Pepsi. And I can't tell you what that did for our morale as we were able to enjoy the friendship and hospitality of the Afghan National Army Kandak that was serving alongside us. And then as a special treat, there were the days when we were invited to go and join them because they were celebrating and they wanted to host us as they cooked one of their legendary goat curries. And I look back on those evenings, sat there in Sangin, celebrating friendship and comradeship and shared determination to do the right thing against an evil enemy. And I think that language barriers, differences in uniform, in experiences whilst growing up, all melt away. And what was left was a common bond between two groups of soldiers who shared a common enemy and wanted both the Afghan army and the British army to succeed together. I'll never forget what I saw on my two operational tours to Afghanistan. I saw things that have shaped my life profoundly thereafter, and I hope that I will never have to see again. It's left me with an indelible affection for your amazing country, which is too often in the news for all the wrong reasons, when really what it is a country blessed with the most magnificent landscape, inhabited by a hospitable, generous, peace-loving people who want to live their lives in a stable, secure, and free way. And I hope that that is where we can get Afghanistan to be. But I know that my 2 brief periods in your country, as dangerous as they may have been, and as much as they may have left a mark on me, was just 2 6-month periods. And by comparison, the brave men and women of the Afghan National Army have been fighting day in, day out for nearly 2 decades now to stand up for what they believe in, to protect their families, and to give their country the freedom it so desperately wants. The ambassador rightly pointed to the Afghan National Officer Academy, and we are hugely proud of our work in helping to deliver the training of your young officers. And it was a real landmark to see, as the ambassador remarked, the 5,000th cadet graduate last September. The Afghan National Army, through that officership program, now shares not just a shared experience of military combat, but the values that we hold dear within the British Armed Forces of self-respect, independence, justice, and tolerance. And it fills me with enormous hope for the future of Afghanistan, that there are Afghan armed forces who hold those values close, allied to the hospitality, the resilience, the courage and the determination that I've already spoken about. And so as you embark on this long path towards a peaceful settlement, we in the United Kingdom, both as a government and in our armed forces, will continue to stand strong alongside the brave men and women of the Afghan armed forces. We'll continue to stand strongly aside our NATO allies and our partners, all in support of the noble ambition to help the proud Afghan people build secure and stable lives, free at long last from the menacing shadow of war. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Minister, for your support and service. Thank you all for joining us today. This marks the end of our reception. We wish you a great rest of the day. Stay safe.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Minister, for your kind remarks.